Welcome to this video on setting up lesson activities in Totara Learn. Totara's lesson activity is a powerful tool for course creators, allowing us to add branching scenarios and let learners make decisions in a safe environment. In this video, we'll look at how to set up a lesson activity. Before we get started, let's check that the lesson activity is enabled. On Totara 12 you can do this from the Quick Access menu, or in older versions you can do this from the Site Administration menu. First, you select Plugins. If you scroll down, you can see if the lesson plugin is enabled or disabled. If you need to enable the plugin, you then select Activity Modules, then Manage Activities. Now you can use the eye icon to enable or disable the lesson activity. Now let's add a lesson to one of our topics. Firstly, I'll give the activity an appropriate name, which will appear on the course page, and I can add an optional description. In my case, I want to create a sales scenario which challenges my learners to make decisions in a sales conversation with a potential customer. Now I can configure these settings to determine how the lesson will work. In the Appearance section, you can choose to upload media files for use in the lesson by dragging and dropping your files in. You can choose whether you want to display a progress bar, the learner's score, and a menu. You may not want to enable these settings if you want your scenario to be more immersive. The progress bar should only be used in linear scenarios, so if you want to use branching, make sure this is turned off. If you've enabled the lesson menu as I have, you can choose to only display the menu once the learner achieves a certain grade. We'll allow the learner to use the menu once they've achieved a passing grade of 80%. You can choose to display the lesson as a slideshow with a fixed width and height. Next, you can set the maximum number of answers per question from 2 to 20 and decide whether to use default feedback when a response to a question isn't found. This allows you to use generic feedback which can be configured at the site level. This may be useful if you're writing lots of questions and don't require tailored feedback. Finally, you can choose to provide a link to the next activity, which allows the learner to move directly to the next activity without returning to the course page. Now you can configure the availability settings. Here you can set the time and dates for which the activity will be available. Let's make this activity available for 6 months. As I'm creating a sales scenario, I want my learners to feel the pressure of a real-life situation. So let's add some additional challenge by making our learners make their decisions under pressure. 10 minutes will be enough. I won't lock this lesson behind a password. Next, we can look at the flow control settings. I'll select Yes here to allow learners to go back over the lesson once they've completed it. I won't let learners have multiple attempts at each question, so I'll leave these options as they are. I'll leave the action after correct answer as the default as well, so the learner will progress through each page in question in the specified order. I can ignore the number of pages to show setting, as this only applies if the page order is randomized. Now we can set how the lesson is graded. I want this lesson to record a score in the gradebook, so let's use point grading for this example. I'll set a passing grade of 80 and leave the practice lesson setting set to no, meaning the score will be counted in the gradebook. Custom scoring is set to yes, meaning we'll be able to add or deduct points for each decision. I'll allow retakes and set it to take the learner's best score as their grade. Now I've configured the lesson settings, I just need to save. So, now you've seen how to create and configure a lesson in one of your courses. Now you're ready to start adding content pages to a lesson, which is covered in another video.